See, divorce is destructive, as what Pastor said. It's destructive, and it destroys marriage, it destroys families, it breaks up homes, and it's terrible. And I want to play you a clip here that talks about divorce here today, and it is actually from Dr. Laura program, and what she has to say about it. And I shared a bunch of things about it. This one that I picked out.
There's a lot of research demonstrates the powerful effect of marital commitment on marital happiness. Because when people have a strong preference for marriage, A, more marriages take place, B, more marriages last, and C, more marriages are happier. There have been studies that demonstrated that when married people adopt attitudes more accepting of divorce, their marriages subsequently tend to deteriorate. So commitment is just not a side effect, it's a cause of relationship happiness. Because commitment includes both constraint, or barriers to a divorce, and dedication, a deeper intrinsic commitment to the partner in the relationship. Marriage increases commitment because it symbolizes and reinforces dedication. So if you're pretty tolerant toward divorce, come from a family where it's almost genetic, these tolerant attitudes towards divorce make marriage less satisfying by making the future less certain. Now, people who feel secure that their marriage will last.
So that is actually one of the clips Dr. Laura sees. So she talks about divorce and that how you gotta love it, how you're happy, commitment is what it is, and you keep yourself happy and have marriage if you don't, and your marriage starts to deteriorate. Now, almost done here, folks. Even at the grounds of adultery, divorces were tolerated in the act of grace, alternate capital punishment to capital punishment. To understand divorce, we must remember God's design of marriage. Genesis 2:24, for the cause of man shall leave his father and his mother, and the two shall become one. God's design is classified by Jesus in Matthew 19:6. Therefore, God has joined together, according to the Bible. Marriage is the uniting of two people into one. Sexual intimacy was the highest physical expression, and it is shared with only one partner. When Adam fell, separate results. People were separated from God, nature, and each other. The wife's desire no longer would be to get help her husband, but is actually dominant. And the wife's desire no longer be to help her husband. Man would now exercise rule. This actually speaks of a sternum control. At the fall, the war of sexes begins. There was no longer perfect peace and harmony. Conflicts like the game that was on Hot 92.3 a long time ago that they played in the morning jam session was called He Said, She Said. Who is right? And there is no longer the perfect peace of harmony. We see this until this day. America has broken away from the concept of traditional family. The family origin consisted of a husband, a wife, together raising children born to them. Marriage was created as one of society's three building blocks, government and the church, other two. Today, divorce is seen as a normal process of eliminating pain or problem. And it says one of the physiatrists in Harmon Medical School, Christianity Today, May 15, 1979, trends that the most destructive on the family include mothers of young children working outside the home, frequent family moves, the invasion of television, the lack of moral control in society, and lack of communication in the home. Family children today are without nature, affection. The simple do not have environment is able to receive balance. Proverbs 30, verse 11 through 12, there is a generation that accuses their father and does not bless their mother. There is generations that are pure in their own eyes, and yet it is not washed from their fulfillingness. In this passage, Jesus affirming the OT teaching given by Moses. Unjustified divorce results in adultery. Divorce is convinced is a sin. Point a person with the non-biblical rights. Divorce has not to biblical right to divorce has not no right to remarry. And I like what Dr. Lawrence says, and I actually agree, because he says that when you are together and you get a divorce and you want to meet somebody else, you have a little girl or a little boy or whatever, wait till at least 18. Then you can do it. Yeah, think I ain't getting any younger. I should, I want to know. But here's the thing. Then they get emotionally, and they get attached to the guy or the girl or whoever it is in your life. And that person, your daughter or your son gets attached to, that person. She, he, whatever. They get attached, and then somehow in a few months or a year or so it doesn't work out. They leave and they get, emotionally attached to that guy or the girl, and they get upset too. It ain't worth it. At least when they're 18, they're old enough to promise out of the house, have that kind of, emotions that much. And it says, verse 32, but I say unto you that whoever divorces his wife for any reason except sexual immorality. Now Jesus gives the only grounds of divorce: sexual immorality, penelia, all sexual acts including incest, prostitution, homosexuality, and bestiality. This is all falls under the grounds of divorce. In conclusion, here another ligament grounds of divorce and remarry is later revealed in Colossians 7 verse 12 to 13 is, if any brother has a wife who is unbeliever, she consists to live with him, let him not send her away. And a woman who has an unbelieving husband and he consents to living with her, let her not send her husband away. Colossians 7:15. He continues, yet is unbelieving and leaves, let him leave. And the brother or sister is not under bondage in such case, but God has called us to peace, and you are bound to a life. Do not seek to be loosened. You are loosened from a wife. Do not seek a wife. Point: if an unbelieving spouse deserts or divorces a believer, the believer is no longer bound and is free to remarry. Finally, we need to remember one more thing. His perfect will is for us to remain together and to work out our differences. Work out, don't just say, it's over, we're done for a long time. No, work it out. Work it out. So I'm going to help you guys on Wednesday night to talk about how to keep the fire lit, how to keep you guys from getting to this point in time in your life where your life was perfect, right? You had a wife, or you had a husband, or whatever you had, and had kids, and you had a family, and then some point in this timeline, the timeline skewed into an alternate life, and then it made you divorce. How you keep that from getting to that point, I'll teach you Wednesday night. And play for you another clip here for a few moments. Play it in the next video, and then next video we're gonna pray. I'm gonna sing you guys a little song. I'm gonna sing songs from now on at the end. So I'm gonna sing at least 2 songs at least, and then first I'll play the little audio clip, and then I'll get into the prayer. So hope you guys enjoy this message, and don't forget to tune to the next video, which will be the closing of this message.